Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron and Samantha. Brian will be joining us again tomorrow. He's out on assignment. We have a fast main track, firm turf course, all weather Tapeta. Samantha, hi. How was your days off?
They were good. How about yours?
Not good.
Well,
The
not good
Panthers
with the
lost
Panthers,
both
yeah.
games, so very tough for me.
But now they're bringing it home, so.
Well, they're bringing it home, and they come back and beat Boston when they were down 3-1.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried yet. They played good, but just that home cooking, you got to get it. Your Oklahoma Thunder did good last night. They
yeah.
trunked them last night.
Thank goodness, yeah.
So that's sports wise. So this is also a sports show here. Not only horse racing, we give you all the scores you need to know.
Exactly, yeah, why not?
And, the Rainbow Six, of course, mandatory payout was a lot of fun on Sunday.
Yeah,
And,
was.
paid nicely and everything. And now we're restarting that thing up again. So this is the day. We say it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
This is the day to play. The next couple of days, you can hit it. Even if you don't get the one unique ticket, you can make $4 or $5 grand. So that's all we got to offer now before we get started. The first race today is going to be on the main track at 5.5 furlongs. They're maiden claimers for 3-year-olds and upward and out of the sky. Brian dropped down a pick 5 ticket somehow. I don't know where he is, but
he's like a stork, right?
Yeah, he just drops it in here, and logical horse. And first, we'll talk about that race in a moment. Race number 2, he's got 3 deep in there. I think 6, 4, and 7, 4, 6, 7. Lots of coverage in race 3 and race 4. And race number 5, boy. He's singling La Cyber in there. I mean, race number 5, excuse me, the 4. I didn't even use that horse. He's
I didn't
4-1.
either. Yeah.
Brian's been hot, so you got to pay
yeah.
Brian. Brian's been doing real good. It's a long shot one on Sunday. I mean, one for fun. It was like 13 or 14 to 1. So, I mean, she don't want to be reminded of that. But getting back to this first race, boy, it looks like a Red Thorn is going to be tough. Is that where you went?
Yeah, I put Blazing Tyreek on top, but with him scratch, I do scratch into the 8 now. This is a great post position. Blinkers go on, and this horse has so much upside.
Yeah, big drop today from maiden special weight to 12.5. Show you stat with Safi Joseph Jr. doing this move here. Maiden special weight to maiden claimers. He's, 34%. So he knows where to place his horses. So maiden special weight to maiden claimers is still a positive ROA. Francisco Arrieta's been riding a lot of horses. He will be riding a lot of horses all weekend long for Safi.
Yeah, he will. And he rode some horses for Safi at Oaklawn. So good to see him here, and hope he likes the weather.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll like the weather. That goes with that. So what about the 2? Map this. We got a replay we want to show.
Yeah, this was this gelding's first ever only start on the dirt track here. I thought he ran very well, Ron, considering the field he was facing during the thick of the championship meet. Although it was for maiden 25,000, I still thought that he ran a pretty good race. He was just dueling and getting pressed the whole entire way here. And you'll see him just kind of start to fade out. But he did the dirty work early on. And being on the inside as a first-time starter, that's not where you want to be. You can see he just kind of got a little bit tired towards the end. He ended up finishing 6th. But I thought the fact that he showed so much early interest was a really good sign here. Now he returns to the main track, and he'll cut back in distance on the main track.
And the old number 6, Midnight Boss, just speed on the grass going long, cutting back to 5.5 furlongs. We'll see how that one runs in first race. However, Red Thorn looks tough, even money right now.
Yeah.
Very, very early in the wagering. Race number 2 is going to be on the Tapeta at 5.5 furlongs. These are maiden claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. Scratch the 2, Kathy's Love Song. And Samantha, it's your pick 4 ticket. Let's take a look.
Yep, I've got 2 deep here. Race number 3. This is my best bet here today. Race number 4, I do have the 6 on top. That is made in Kuwait. And in race number 5, I've got the 9 on top. That is Meet Me in the Air for Nel Cordero. $6 is the play. And this is a card today, Ron, that I think if you can get a couple favorites home and bob and weave in other places, you could get paid.
Yeah, when you see my Rainbow Six, it's a lot smaller than normal because I thought I could go in a couple of places in here. Going back to this second race this afternoon, you started it off with who in here?
The 5.
5.
Practical Veil. This is my long shot today. I think that this is a barn that's going to start heating up. Jose Morelos, we've seen him do a lot of good work these past couple weeks here, and I'm just going to play the hot hand. The races at Tampa, of course, they're not as strong as a group like this, but I still think this time of year he might fit okay.
Yeah, it makes the trek down town with that good thing in the back pocket, and that is speed.
Yes.
So he's got some speed. And I did go with the number 6, Elagio in there. You have a little further down on your ticket. Elagio, Steve Caceres, knocking on the door last time out, was the favorite. That was at 5 furlongs. I think third off the bench. Looks like a logical contender.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with the Misael aboard, you just now wonder. The Tapeta, I think this is going to be a perfect post for this horse today here. And I think that just watch the Tapeta today. It's been pretty warm all week, and you just kind of have to pay attention to that. We'll get a good feel of it after a couple races.
Yeah, and number 7 Gigi's Stories, the old bounce rebounder, ran a really good race 2 back at 5.5, comes back at 5 with Paco, doesn't show much, maybe bounces back this afternoon. So
absolutely.
a horse like that, and Samantha mentions all the time, and rightly so, they're so inconsistent. Everyone takes a turn beating each other. So if you can zero in on a horse like Practical Veil, that's a good way to go, because the horse has speed, and like Samantha says, maybe that's what we'll be getting on the Tapeta.
Right.
It's pretty been fair.
I felt like for sure. Last week it was very fair. I agree completely. But now that it's starting to get summertime here, it might change.
Yeah, and also everybody just talking about how dead the rail is on the main track. I didn't see it that much, but they claim it was. But we'll see. So always good to mark down, see all those guys that follow that very intently. We're going to go back to the dirt this afternoon for race number 3, 7 furlong sprint, 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds and up, which you never won 2. And you got your best bet in here from that horse, Vigano from Tampa. We got a replay we'll show.
Yeah, I wanted to show the victory, because this was a really good effort here, coming from behind. And now this horse was even money, so he should have won in this way. But when he switches into his right lead right there, he really tries hard, and I like to see that. Just a super, super game horse all around. Just blew the field away. Can he come back to an effort like this? Well, he didn't last time, but that was on the turf, and now he's back to what he wants to do, I think, which is just sprint on the main track.
Trained by my buddy Nick Zeno.
That was a really good impression. That was good.
I love Nicky's. What are you talking about? Characters at the racetrack, and he is certainly one great guy to know him. And I went with Top Maverick on here, and Top Maverick, was the drop. You look 2 back at 7 furlongs on the dirt, which I love. Showed some speed, finished 5th, stepped up last time out. Well, both of those were at 35.
Right.
A little tougher than here. I thought maybe this horse with the speed, and I like horses. Now this horse is 3 for 6 in the money at the distance, but the one big 0 in the win column. So you get what you get in there. Then you got the number 6, Teofimo. Teofimo, I thought it's a logical contender in here for Jorge Negrete, second off the bench.
Yeah, I think so too. And this was always a pretty big horse. I remember when this horse debuted, I couldn't figure out why they debuted him on the grass. I thought maybe he just couldn't run at all, because he is such a big, heavy horse. I wanted to see him on the dirt, and he ran a lot better the next time on the dirt. He was actually my long shot that day in November, and then they put him back in a spot that I think was just a little too much than he could handle.
Yeah, that Lasso's a pretty good horse. He's been running good. So, so going back, that's a pretty good pick. I put him on my ticket for all the reasons Samantha mentioned. Then you got the 3, Cool Zan. I think is a horse that can, for Robert Smith, that can grab a little bit in here. We got Tri-Supers, another horse coming over from Tampa. I've been doing this for so long, you cannot figure right away. Tampa horses shipping down here, or are we shipping up to Tampa? It's just there's no set thing that if they come down 12-5s, okay. There's not. It just you got to go with what you feel in there. If that makes any sense at all, I don't know if I'm rambling or not. Well, what it was, I'll take a short break.
Yes.
I'll take a deep breath, and I'll come back with my Rainbow 6.
They're off.
Win big with new DRF All Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Easily switch between views, Access the most trusted information in horse racing with DRF All Access past performances. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code ONEFREEPP for a free single card today.
Back to Gulfstream today, Ron and Samantha. Main track is fast, turf firm. It's a little afternoon, and Rainbow Six, as we mentioned, we had the mandatory payout on Sunday, had a couple of $1,000,000 in it. Now we're going to start anew. Here's my ticket right now, $28.80. We'll talk about my single in here, my best bet made in Kuwait in a minute. 3 deep for me in race number 5. The 3 worth considering is my top pick in there. Race number 6, just 2 for me. I think the horse to beat in there is the number 4, Slew Diva. First off, the claim by Carlos David, who's been on fire. Race 7, 3 for me. 2, 3, and 7. And top pick is the 7, Carnane, 8-5. Race number 8, my top pick is Emmett on the inside at 7-5. And in the last, my long shot is Lady Cause, but I used a bunch of horses in the 9th and final race. That's 6 on the main track. We had a lot of main track races today.
It's great.
Not like normal.
Yeah.
So, getting back to this 4th race, let's show the video of Maiden Kuwait here, and I think this is the horse to beat.
Absolutely, especially in a race like this. Look how slow this horse was to break back in a couple weeks ago. So there he is, not where you want to be in a 5.5 furlong sprint. And this horse then just took the shortest path, which was on the rail. Then when he angled out, she couldn't quite get there. But the way she broke from the gate, Ron, that's not how you win races on the Tapeta at all. At least that she tried really hard. She did everything she could except win this race here today.
Yeah, I thought she ran a big race today, and I think the level of competition this afternoon might be a tad softer in there. So, thus, my single in the Rainbow Six. What about your number 3, Cajun Sisters, one from our buddy Mike Yates?
I think that the debut that day on the Tapeta, March 12th, during the championship meet was a really good effort. It was a nice 5th-place finish. She picked up some horses late. There's a lot of room to improve here, especially getting back to the Tapeta. And I like the gate work before the last race. Now, I know that was on the main track, but I think just the key thing here is getting back to the Tapeta and the drop in class on the Tapeta.
Yeah, big drop in class in there. I did go with the inside horse, get the win as a first-time starter from Sam Walensky. So, of course, a lot of guessing going on here. But the barn is pretty good. They don't really show much with first-time starters. I wasn't really enamored with a lot of the other previous starters, so I threw this one on my ticket. But I'm all in on the number 6, Maiden Kuwait.
Yep, I think that's a good way. I think a lot of people are afraid to single the first leg. But you rip the Band-Aid off early. If you're right, you're right. If not, then whatever.
And you got coverage.
You go to the Big 5.
Yeah, exactly, and you'll have a ticket on it. So I could just do that. 5th race is going to be on the turf at a mile. These are maiden claimers. Phillies 3-year-old Scratchy, also eligible entry, number 11, Spirit of Jamaica. And we have the late pick 5 ticket.
We do, and it's an $18 play, and this race we'll get to in just a second. Race 6, I do have the 4 on top. That's Slew Diva. Race 7. Now, this is a race where you either just single the 7 and move on, or you don't trust the 7 at all. But I think the 7's if it's not today, I don't know when it'll be. Race 8, I'd have the 2 on top, Big Boy Jack, at a price with the rails being out. And in the finale, I have the 7 on top, John Tahe, which this horse here, I don't think that you have this horse in your Rainbow Six. You might want to add her after we watch the replay. It's an $18 play here, and not an easy one to get things going.
No, I did use that horse.
You did? Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I went
good,
4
good.
deep in there.
So. Good.
All right, getting back to race number 5 this afternoon, and you started off. This is an interesting horse you got to meet me in the air, Enel Cordero.
Well, I think about the thing with this filly that I like is she'll stretch out to 2 turns for the very first time. She will try the turf for the first time, and she brings speed to the party. The rails are out at 73 feet here today. That's such a big speed favoring. It's a speed favoring turf course already. When they're out at 73 feet, good luck making up ground.
Yeah, it's really hard. Yeah, you've got 7 that inside for big stakes races on Saturday. Both of those 2-year races run on the zero pole setting. I mean, turf
You've
setting.
been watching Formula One there.
Yeah, I watched that whole thing. Good race. It was really good early
It
on.
was
That race
good
till
race.
those two guys took
Yep.
off. I didn't use this horse. I'm going to have to go back and look at it. But let's. I'll go talk about the three. Then we'll show the replay that we have to show. I used Worth Considering on top of my ticket in here, and it was the drop. Tariq Mubarak. I just think that this horse has been going so good. I liked a little bit of a drop, and I'm keying off that race on the turf back for $75,000. So I'm looking for somebody that had some turf experience, and that was against much better than this horse is going to face today.
Yeah, that's the truth. And that day, my note on her was that she galloped out really well. So we know that she'll like the distance there. You want to see her up involved early on. And when you have a Misael, you're going to get that. And then that's a good thing to have.
Well, let's show that video of Starship Elation and a Capri. We also Spirit of Jamaica scratched out,
Yes.
so this horse will be in. That was the also eligible entry. There you see Spirit of Jamaica not going to run today.
No, Starship Elation was my long shot last out, and I almost got her home. She ran huge here. Evelyn Louise, that was for Vicky Oliver. Vicky Oliver had 2 wins that day at 2 different racetracks. It was a barn that was so cold I couldn't get the victory. I thought that Starship Elation ran very well there. Anna Capri is just so. But Starship Elation, with her today, the rail setting is not going to be her friend. That
Right.
day, the rails were at 52 feet. You saw it was a very wide move. She lost a lot of ground. Now we're on the outside again. What do you get?
Yeah, we'll see how that is. What about the number 6 in here, Trish, that you put on your ticket? Well, I love the fact we're all over the place.
Yeah, well, the daughter of Tislalaw is going to stretch out to 2 turns. These Tislalaw offspring have been so good just in general, but the 2 turns on the turf have been very strong, at least just, from the sample that you have. It's still not a huge sample because the Tislalaws are still 3-year-olds now this year. But gets Lasix on for the first time and we'll move into Kathleen O'Connell's barn.
Yeah, Kathleen O'Connell, formerly Delgado, that horse running up at Monmouth last season for them. Race number 6 this afternoon is going to be 6 furlongs on the main track. Claimers, these are 3-year-old fillies, scratch the 3, Girl, Dynamite, and we have a late pick 4 ticket from the one and only Brian. Dropped this one in. We'll see what he's got planned. He went 4 deep in there. I'm surprised that he went 4 deep in there. 7, like you, Carnane, both of you are singling that horse. Lots of coverage in race number 8, and let's see if he used your horse in the last race, and that is the 7. He did not. So $32, and that's Jean Tige. How'd you say it?
I'm not sure. Jante,
I think it is.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Sounds right.
That's
Yeah,
what we have, Pete.
That's what we got people for. Jante, we'll say. It sounds really good.
Yeah.
Getting back to this race, you had the 4-horse, I have the 4-horse. Let's show the video of Slew Diva and Pop Rocks. I think we got the stretch run.
Yes, we do. And this was an interesting race because Slew Diva at no point of this race was going to lose at all. Now, Pop Rocks was coming off of a win, so could you say that, you mentioned it earlier with these lower level claimers, that I think she just got run a little bit thin. But now Slew Diva off of this win is claimed by Carlos David. And Pop Rocks, look, she's nice. She tries hard. She just finished a late running second here. We'll say at this 6 furlong distance. But Carlos David off the claim, you found a stat. I'll let you talk about it. You said it yesterday. It's his world. We're just living in it.
Right,
Yeah.
that was on
Sunday. Sorry, yeah.
Well, yeah, look at this. First up the claim, just in the past year. I wanted it because he's been going so good. 34%, so I didn't go 5 years or anything like that. In the money 75% of the time, 229. So over the past year, and Edgard's Eye certainly adds to the appeal. You mentioned Pop Rocks. I thought maybe Early Delivery had a little bit of a shot in here, and that's the 5-horse. So I thought maybe this horse can run okay and grab a share. And, Peter Walder, we said this the other day. He comes out of it okay. Peter Walder is better than his stats might indicate. He was in New York. He was here. It's not the same thing. But if you see a horse like his running, I wouldn't just shy off it. It's a 2-time winner. I think can run well in here.
Yep, I've listened. The barn has been pretty slow as of late, but being a 2-time winner in this field is not a bad thing to have in your pocket.
And then you got Safi with the drop.
Yep.
Safi giving everybody a chance to ride. Francisco or Arietta, as we mentioned, they could be in the saddle today. We'll see how it runs there. I think they got to beat the 4 this afternoon.
Yes, absolutely.
Race number 7, a mile in the 16th on the Tapeta. Claimus fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 in life. No scratches. Take it away with Carnane. I agree. Brian singled it. You singled it.
Oh, gosh. If it's not today, when is it? This filly has been set up perfectly to run in a race like this. 2 starts back, she finally broke through with the maiden win on the Tapeta. It seems like her Tapeta races just in general are a little bit better than the rest of this group, and that's not saying a lot against the rest of this group, but it's not so much I like her, I don't like anybody else.
Yeah, and cut in half, and we haven't mentioned Paco's name today. He's not riding a lot of horses. He will be on this horse today. And Carlo Navarez, this barn has been going so good.
Yep.
I agree with you. I think it's the one to beat in there. What about the 6, Awesomely Wild's going to break right next door for Von Herd?
Well, has nibbled at the Tapeta at these levels in the past, has not been able to break through. I don't foresee why it would be today. I think that some craziness would have to happen because with the 7 drawn to her outside and Paco aboard Carnane, I think that it just I just don't think she'll have a good enough trip to get it done. You look at her prices in this field. She fits in this field, but is it enough to get past the 7?
You look at Cam Sprinters, you go all the way down to January. This horse breaks its maiden for $35,000 on the Tapeta.
Yep.
And then they start, tilting wooden wheels, put them in some tough spots and everything like that. The drop. You're getting Edgar Zayas today. I think this horse is in a proper place to grab a share, but I agree with Samantha and Brian that you got to beat the 7 in this spot for the connections and Paco, as we mentioned, Ronnie. The 8th race, we're going to go back to the turf at a mile in the 16th. And this is for 3-year-olds and straight 3-year-olds in here. We've got a jockey change on the number 6 horse in here, and that is Luca Panici will ride Saratoga Cruiser. Chill the J for me on number 5. I thought I had the 5 on top. Oh, no, I do. I have the 1 on top. I have 1 on top.
Right.
5 is second. We've got a video with the 1. I'll start it off with Emmett in here just to change it up a little bit. And Emmett, if I can find it on the page here, Emmett, I just thought of the drop for Jose D'Angelo. Was in that sophomore turf up at Tampa Bay. Looks like the class of the field.
Absolutely. Now we'll get Lasix back on. Tried that stakes level last time out, and Tank was really good in our race this past weekend for Carlos David, so that flatters Emmett a little bit. The turf here, he's untested on, so that will be interesting.
Well, you got a big price in here with Big Boy Jack.
Well, Big Boy Jack has got speed, and I think although he is 0 for 6 on the turf course here, the rail's at 73 feet like this, that should really be right down his alley. Rajiv Mirage, he's been riding quite well lately. But with the speed, you have to take initiative in a group like this. And I don't see, he looks like he can get loose in here to me.
Well, I've been trying to talk about Chill the J, so I might as well do it now, show the video.
Yeah, this is first now off the claim for Mark Casse, which after we show this replay, we'll show the stat on this. Mark Casse doesn't reach in, and Gary Barber, they don't reach in for horses quite a lot. And Chill the J, I thought, ran really well here. This was the maiden breaker last time out. This was the race that they claimed the horse for. And now Mark Casse doesn't risk this horse for a tag, which I find really interesting. This was a tour de force effort here. This was window dressing, Ron, but I want to hear about the stat you found.
Well, it's not that good. So, but you keyed it off. But you see, first at the claim of turf over at Gulfstream, he's only done it 8 times.
Wow.
As you mentioned, I wanted to show because you said they don't do it very much. But in the money, 75% of the time. I don't know what you glean out of this because they're not a turf claiming outfit here, but that horse ran exceptionally well. I got it on my ticket. Forget, I just wanted to point that stat out to show you it's something. And as Samantha wisely said, that they don't do very often in this spot.
Right.
So the 2 Big Boy Jack Boy, that'd be nice if we can get that one in there.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mentioned the 6 Saratoga Cruise will be ridden by Luca Panici. So race number 9 this afternoon. We're going back to the dirt. Boy, we didn't have many Tabita races today.
No, not as many. Yeah, it's great.
Maiden claimers, and these are 3-year-olds, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds, and up. We're going to scratch the number 4 horse in this particular race. And let's start it off with your horse first, and we're calling it Jante till we hear from Peter upstairs.
That was good. We'll watch the replay here. This was the 3rd place finish last time out at Tampa. On the 19th. So coming back here, this was a really big effort. Now, there was an inside move made here. You see he just dives right to the rail. That's not really a spot you want to be on the Tampa dirt track, and this horse ran on nicely. This isn't where you want to be on this track. You see most of the winners at Tampa come from the outside, and that was a close effort. I felt like it was much better than it looked like on paper. The horse galloped out extremely well. We'll get Lasix on for the first time today.
Well, my long shot in here is Lady Kazi, only one of 2 4-year-olds in the field.
Yep.
The steps up after a pair of second-place finishes against those 12-5 maidens. So I'm sort of playing the percentages. This might be a good spot for this horse to pull a little bit of an upset off.
Yeah, like you said, I'm with the other 4-year-old in this field. Right. This is the other one. It's still an advantage this time of year.
Yep. And then you got, what about Song and the Breeze? We'll talk about Song and the Breeze now from Mike Yates. And a horse that maybe has a good shot in here. You look at Song and the Breeze, they started with state-bred maiden special weights, showed some early interest and backed up. Second start now.
Yeah, second start, and we'll move to the dirt. There's been some decent works across the main track, and she's a quick filly, too. I think that the works here, especially just on the main track. There was one on the second, on February 16th. That was a really good work across the main track. So if she can transfer that, and I think dropping class is so key.
Yeah, we're going to stand on Mike Yates. We'll see how this helps his Song and the Breeze this afternoon. This is maiden special weight to maiden claimers on the dirt. Look how good this is. Yeah. 25%, 64%. In the money. Ivan Pimentel Jr. will be in the saddle today. So, I got a little bit of a long shot at 6-1. You got a nice one on top that's 10-1. I just think it's that kind of race, and maybe you go Marabina on the inside like we did. We basically thinking alike in the last race there, except my top pick is not on your ticket. But besides that, we're thinking alike. Yes. So that is it for the 9 races for us, but we're not done. We got our lightning round, which I like every Thursday. We started off with what's going on around here.
Yeah, we do, and it's always exciting to see what's going on standing-wise here as we are just rocking and rolling through this Royal Palm Beach.
Yeah, let's see what's going on. Edgar Zayas up there with 27. Paco will probably be heading up to Monmouth, I would imagine.
Yeah, Monmouth opens this weekend, so we'll lose him, but it will give other jocks a chance.
Yeah, look how good Micah Husbands is doing. The Apprentice, he's right up there in the top 5. Lino Reyes, of course, a great rider, especially here in the summertime. Edgar Zayas leading right now. What's going on with the trainers?
I would imagine it's Safi, but not by a lot. Wow, yeah, how about that? And this will be interesting, too, as horses kind of start filtering out to places like Monmouth, to Saratoga and whatnot. But this is exciting. Yeah,
you get Delaware, they kick in with the Carlos Davidson, some horses up there. Hey, Todd, he didn't start many horses since the end of the championship meet. But, boy, his horses run well. And on Saturday, we've got the Win and You're In, the 2-year-old races. And Todd's got a couple of really nice horses. Yeah. Actually has a half to Fierceness in that. So got some good breeding. Fierceness not on the turf, but 2-year-olds are very precocious. They can run when they don't know what they're doing. They're just running.
Yeah,
so.
that is so true.
So what else we got?
The Rainbow paid out Sunday, and it paid quite well. I wish I would have conspired with Brian before this, because his long shot, the race 6 there, was the only race I missed. That was tough.
Yeah, that was tough, boy. And that horse just won for fun, too.
Oh, my God. Yeah. It was 3 weeks ago when we had our mandatory Rainbow, you could have given me $2,500. I couldn't have hit it. And I played like a $56 ticket and missed it once. And this paid way better today. So
Yeah.
I mean on Sunday. So it was exciting. Thank you to everybody. We got almost 3 million in it. So that was exciting.
What are we celebrating? No, we're celebrating Mother's Day, right?
We are celebrating Mother's Day. Yeah, we're celebrating Mother's Day on Sunday, and we've got lunch and brunch at Tim Palms.
Yeah, they have some. I was reading on the line. They have some kind of special treat for Mother's Day. You go up and they give you a little gift or something like that.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and you can see this. The slate will play around throughout the afternoon as well, and then. Of course, the big news is we got Preakness next week.
Yeah, Preakness next week, and Samantha and I will be heading up there next week to have some fun, try and pick the winners of those races up there. The draw is on Monday.
Yep.
You know, we got so many great things going on up there on Preakness week, and if you bet the Preakness, pre-race the Preakness, the ones I got $50 on if he goes on Burnham Square.
Oh, very nice.
So we'll see.
I've got 50 on journalism.
He's working. They haven't decided yet, but he's going.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident about my bet there.
Yeah,
I wish it would have been the Derby bet instead, but that's okay. We'll take where you can get it.
Best bet?
Who is my best bet today? Now I don't even remember. I think it's early. Oh, okay, race 3, the one. The Nick Zito horse.
Oh, Nicky. And then we got the best bet for me, which I can't remember now. It was quacking so long. Oh, made in Kuwait, 8-5 with the slow start and running very well in a good spot. And your long shot today is in race, where is it?
Practical Veil.
Oh, Practical Veil. And I got in the last race the 3 horse in there trying to get it done, Lady Cause. So that's how we see it. Turn it over to Pete Aiello, and we'll be back here throughout the afternoon. You have to put up with me all day. You have no choice. Good luck.